skyscraper, step inside, take a seat, feel the magic in the air. Cards on the table, let the spirits take you there. Aeson's got the insight, Joe's teching up the show. Sip that truth, honey, let the mystic wisdom flow. Oh, ooh, it's the Sidekick Coffee Shop. To future sights, we're spilling secrets left and right. So grab your cup, let's take a ride on this cosmic caffeinated guide. Yun, ooh, it's the Sidekick Coffee Shop.
Good evening. Good evening, and welcome to Sidekick Coffee Shop. I'm Aeson Knight. Of course, I'm sitting with my techie with the most, is Techie Joe. How are you, darling?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you this evening?
Totally evil, fully creatable, ready to jump into some things, maybe talk about some things that are controversial.
Yes. Well, yeah.
Yeah. Like some of the things hitting through the metaphysics. We'd like to sell to something else. I don't know. Mars. Let's ship it to Mars in the Mars Alliance War.
I think it is an interesting offshoot.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of topics for a movie, which we've seen it done, bits and pieces of it.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen parts of it used in fiction of all varieties.
Right.
But it's interesting when it starts kind of slingshotting back.
Right.
And here's what I liken it to.
Okay.
It is so friggin' hard for me sometimes to watch hacker movies.
Mm-hmm.
Or episodes of NCIS and other shows that involve a technical component that I'm sitting that I'm sitting there and I'm well aware that's not how that works.
Mm-hmm.
That's not true and accurate.
Right.
That's a great visual stimulus.
Right.
But it's not the thing.
Right. It's far from the thing.
Yeah, or that's totally not what that looks like when you do it.
Mm-hmm.
Or, and some conventions that get used in television and movies, and like the 555 555 5555 phone numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Or some variant of the 555. It's
right.
not a real number. It doesn't exist.
Right.
This is to keep people from having their phone ring off the hook.
Right.
Or a telephone company from having to totally permanently disable a fucking number.
Mm-hmm.
Because you motherfuckers are going to be out here and you're going to try to dial it.
Right.
And you're going to drive someone crazy. So we create a convention to
mm-hmm.
handle that.
Right.
Now, I will say with tech, there hasn't been a lot of standardization like the 555 numbers.
Right.
So we do start seeing things that we're like, wait a second, not only is that out of spec,
right.
but no, it won't work. But more to the point, it's just it's like, that's not even how that works.
Mm-hmm.
But, and I think every industry that sees itself fictionalized,
right,
encounters this problem.
Right.
That there's what you actually do,
mm-hmm.
and then there's this reinterpretation version of it.
Mm-hmm.
That is used as a literary device.
Mm-hmm.
867-5309. Yeah, Jenny. Call Jenny. Um, again, but no, like we've seen it, and it's also because we see the disaster that occurs
Right.
when you use real things or things that, okay, we didn't really think through the fact that's a
Hmm.
legitimate number. So
Right.
it's like credit cards. You either never in a movie,
Hmm.
you either never see the number or you see a false number.
Right.
It's like FBI badges, like that was one of the things from like X-Files,
Hmm.
is if you carefully look in the opening credits of the X-Files,
Right.
it's not even close to a real FBI badge.
Right.
There's many things that have been done to that to
Hmm.
you duplicate that, it's fake.
Right.
Like off the top, they didn't use a real FBI badge. They didn't even try to use a real FBI badge.
Hmm.
You know, but we do these things across different industries because when you actually do the thing,
Hmm.
someone's going to try to copy it, someone's going to try to connect with it, someone's going to try to do the thing.
Right.
And it's like, oh, please don't repeat that.
Right.
Like, please do. So like even in hacking movies, like the commands they're running are usually like, well, it's it's a Linux system and they're updating packages.
Right.
So you please go repeat that, like install your Linux system and then
Hmm.
update your packages. Like we
Hmm.
really appreciate when you do that. Hey Bluey.
Hey, Bluey. Hey,
Um,
Nancy. Hey, Brenda.
but it's oh, hey Nancy, sorry, I missed you there.
Yeah.
I apologize. But no, but then to see it filter back in, and every industry has to deal with it. Like that's not how that works. That's not how the thing
Hmm.
is. That's not reality. That's not going to be
Hmm.
your experience.
Right.
But then there becomes the question of, does it end up molding the experience, or is it just going to be this continuous, like waiting for someone to do the thing?
Right. And
Um,
and
and
see.
like for your industry, I do have to say the best depiction really is Shining Vale.
Right.
Like I friggin' love it. Because there, and it was, I think, one of the original trailers for season one
Uh huh.
is she goes into a shop
Uh
and
huh.
she sits down with a psychic, and the psychic is like, what?
Right.
Like there's no deep seething mysticism going on. He's like,
Hmm.
are you fucking stupid?
Yeah.
And it's like, yes.
And that's why I like watching Seinfeld. Do not ruin any of the seasons I haven't gotten to watch
Do
yet.
not ruin it for me. I kept telling you you would friggin' love it, and then
I
you
know, right?
did it really take Peter Mon? Like, hi
No,
Peter Mon, if you're
he's not
watching, I
watching
hope that
it.
you'll enjoy. Uh, but did it really take Peter Mon doing the thing where he like tells his husband, "I think you're really like this," and then like 6 months, a year, whatever passes, and then he watches it and goes, "This is really good."
Right. Hmm.
Like I gotta plant the seed, water it, and then you'll watch it.
My TV watching is limited. I get maybe a show a week, maybe two. So what do you expect? It takes me a while to follow and get through these shows. Okay. So
But
the
no,
other night I was training my animals and flipping through YouTube, like watching some of these other stuff, and something popped up, and I went, "Are you fucking serious?" So I thought we would do a live react to about the first 3 to 5 minutes.
well, just I mean, even a couple of minutes. I don't even
Yeah,
think you have to go too far
yeah.
because it's very repetitive. Like I couldn't
Mhm.
even get through it the whole 10 minutes myself. One,
Yeah.
because I didn't have time.
Okay, here we go.
If I told you the moon is not what we think it is, not a rock, not random, but a deliberate mechanism, one tied to memory suppression, emotional control, and the cycle we're trapped in. This isn't theory, this is design. The official story is simple. A chunk of Earth broke off during a violent collision billions of years ago, formed into a sphere, and locked itself in perfect synchrony above us. Perfect? Too perfect? It's the only celestial body that doesn't rotate from our view. It's the exact size and distance needed to perfectly eclipse the sun. Its orbit stabilizes life. And yet we're told it was an accident. But perfect symmetry doesn't come from chaos. Let's talk facts they can't explain. The moon rings like a bell when struck, seismic echoes that last for hours, hollow interior. Its surface is ancient, older than Earth's crust, yet shows signs of advanced manipulation. The dust has different chemistry than the rocks. The orbit is mathematically perfect, far too precise to be the result of a collision. And the kicker? Ancient cultures said the moon wasn't always there. There are stories of a time before the moon, a different sky, a different frequency. The moon's light affects mood. It stirs tides, not just in oceans, but in blood. Women's cycles mirror the moon. Animals shift their behavior around it. But what if that's not organic? What if it was engineered that way? Emotional modulation.
Okay, let's stop for a moment here because I want to talk about it. Yes, the moon rings. And we know why it rings. It's because it has a large iron content to it. It doesn't fully block the sun. The reason it doesn't fully block the sun is it's not as big as the sun. It's an optical illusion.
Yeah. Well, and a different placement would be a total, complete, utter block out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things going on there.
Okay.
Sleep disruption, memory suppression. The moon holds us in a loop, not just time, but soul recurrence. The reincarnation grid, a system to trap us in karmic replay. Every death, every rebirth, filtered through the lunar gate. If it was placed, by who? Ancient Sumerian tablets speak of Anunnaki engineers. Egyptian myths describe Thoth bringing order to time. And modern theorists suggest a Saturnian force. Something that once ruled, fell, and left the moon behind as a watchtower, not a satellite.
Okay.
All right, so we're getting to the end of because this is a string of clips.
Right, this is a string of clips.
So just to explain that. So yeah, all right. Did anyone catch the scaffolding that's being done? So it starts with a thing that you're familiar with, the moon. It then layers together two different, things. One is, a very scientific-oriented explanation that is a theory,
right?
And the best evidence theory of what occurred to create the moon. And then another layer on that is done with, but it's too perfect of a design. So you're getting so you're getting a scientific argument, and you're getting the cross religious argument that it's not accident, it's creation, it's someone created this, some superior being created this, and it's by design. Okay, so now we've taken this thing you're familiar with, the moon. We have made a double appeal to either scientific thought or to religious thought,
right?
And then we come along and we introduce this whole other theory by the next part is to then start questioning it. And then we introduce there's a few more layers there, but so then we start to question it, and then we start to introduce this whole wild theory,
that's so far left gate refs. And I love when they start putting gates on this shit. Anyhow,
we do react to the word gate as a society, gatekeeping, that it's a portal, it's a gate, it's a interdimensional whatever. We react to that.
A machine built to observe, monitor, modulate. During the last Great Reset, when the system collapsed, the moon held the frequency. It was the anchor, stabilizing the grid, calibrating the human condition while the world rebuilt around it. That's why it stayed when everything else shifted. It's a fail-safe, but fail-safes can fail. And that is what's happening now. The moon's frequency is changing. You felt it, haven't you? Dreams are clearer, emotions sharper, the grip weaker. It was never designed to hold this much awakening. The light it once used to trap now flickers with cracks. Some say the moon is beginning to fail. Others say it's starting to broadcast a new signal. Not control, but remembrance. Something ancient, something buried in us. So what now? Now you start to notice. Start to track how you feel during the cycles. Start to question the energy it reflects. Because the moon was never just watching, it was shaping. But if the tether is breaking, we get to shape it back. This isn't the end of the system, it's the awakening of the real one. And the ones who see it, they're already lighting the next signal. They taught you to worship it, to dance beneath it, to feel it as comfort, mystery, beauty. But what if I told you the moon isn't here for us? It was never part of Earth, it was never natural, and it was never meant to nurture. It was meant to monitor, to manipulate, to contain. This is not mythology, this is not a metaphor. This is the system you were born into. And the moon, it's the lid. Let's start with hard science.
All right.
The kind even
So
NASA
that
can't explain.
Okay.
moves into a whole other clip.
It moves into a whole other clip, so we'll stop here because I can't stomach the nonsense anymore.
Well, here's the thing.
Right.
And as we're going along, it's coming through as well as that, like,
Right.
Bill Murray did that with his blue cross, blue shield, and what about Bob talking to Shorley? It's been an aircraft since forever in conspiracies.
Right.
Yeah, the observing thing is old. And also I do appreciate it's a cosmic dragon egg.
I can be happy with a cosmic dragon egg.
But here's the thing. When we filter through all this, you do have to understand that as we have gone through history, it's been different things through different cultures, different religions, different whatever.
Right.
Before we could observe enough,
right,
we begin to actually, like hard science, say, okay, this is what it's made out of. This is its distance. This is its size. This is its characteristics. This is what we think happened. Could be wrong, but based on best evidence, this is what it appears to, or what appears to have occurred. So that's how we transition from, the general populace trying to explain a presence of the moon through various levels of ignorance / concepts that already exist that they are culturally scaffolding off of. That this idea that of feeling alone and feeling like we are, like, what's our purpose? What are we doing here? Like, these are all great thoughts. But as we've moved into a more modern era in which we've started to answer questions and define, we start to run into a problem. Is that, hi, welcome to evolution and, selection, natural selection. We've kind of built ourselves towards this being an inherent feature of which, I mean, hi, I'm not saying anything revolutionary here. But an inherent feature is that, as part of our shared conscious reality, we have selected the people that kind of have this innate ability to try to explain things they don't understand, or at least create a working model of it, so that you can either interact with it and learn how to respect it, how to use it, how to, like, explain it. For the purposes, it's kind of like, if anyone remembers during the Panini, we had the random the word escapes me, monoliths. There it is. that popped up, and like that created a whole thing.
Oh yeah.
It was a whole thing.
Still is a whole thing. Like in the metaphysical world, we're still talking about and debating it. But on the same time of this, what I don't like is this creator has took pieces, threads, we will say, of metaphysical and historical and cultural information and woven together this tapestry of bullshit. The indigenous tribes of the Americas do talk about a world that had no moon. It was the life before this and the planet before this when they climbed the depending on the culture, they climbed through, they went through a tunnel, they climbed on the back of the turtle, they climbed up a cornstalk and entered this life, this planet, this world. Anunnaki and engineers not covered in the Anunnaki sagas, not covered in the Book of Enoch. Let's go and try that again, shall we? Let's take you back to class and maybe you can read the, I think it's like 2,000 page translated book that does talk about other beings interacting with us. That's also where angels come from, but that's a whole different set of creational stories and ideas. And I'm like, stop. Like, you're making my head hurt. And the one on Atlantis is even worse. And I'm like, will you stop getting the Cliff Note versions of spiritual information and throwing it the living the fuck out there?
Well, and then, like Brenda just said, she's making a quilt of stories, conspiracies, etc. A line here, a chapter there, all stitched together.
Right.
And it is. It's like making a quilt out of scraps.
Right.
Like you're forming a final idea that is a square quilt out of, a scrap of a dress and a piece of this fabric and that fabric and, any fabric you can find or that you just have a little bit of and you piecework it together.
Right.
To create this whole flesh thing. The funny part is, to me, it honestly starts to feel like about 5 different movies. Like, I don't even think there's research here, really. It feels like 5 different movies, at least, shoved together and crammed together that have explored this, well, what if mentality. Like
on a fear-based level.
Yeah, of the moon landing was a hoax. Because again, that's going to be part of this. It's going to be there. It's always going to be there. Like if you bring up a conspiracy theory, the moon landing being fake is
quite the opposite. It's more like it's a base, and when it landed, it's not going hoax. It's going the opposite direction of but it's a control center.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, I mean, it all kind of feels like multiple movies stitched together that explored the theory of what if the moon isn't a rock?
Right.
What if the moon is some ancient vessel, some ancient monitoring station, some and you almost start to go into, because there was a movie that is fun to watch. It is funny.
Right.
Horrible topic line, but it's the I forget the title of it. Maybe Brenda can help me. I feel like somehow Brenda has seen it because we're on a wavelength, I think. You know what I mean? Like similar people or similar mindsetties. Like, well, I'll watch that. But it's the one where Hitler survives World War II, ends up on the dark side of the moon, and it may be called the dark side of the moon. But anyway, ends up on the dark side of the moon.
Okay.
and is, there's a whole Nazi base on the dark side of the moon.
Right.
Totally trapped culture, like time locked to the 1940s,
Mm-hmm.
just living out its days, preparing for the the final solution.
Right.
And it's a comedy movie. Like, heaven help me, I do think it may be a what's his name?
Right.
Oh, it escapes me at the moment.
Okay,
But
it
it's that
is
level.
not the dark side of the moon.
It is not the dark side of the moon.
Correct.
Okay. I feel like that's part of the title. Because I know that's the premise. Iron Sky? Iron Sky. Yeah, yeah. So the description is, it's a B movie called Iron Sky about a Nazi colony on the dark side of the moon that, after 70 years of regrouping, is staging a full-scale invasion of Earth.
Yeah, it was the most expensive finished films.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Yes, it's Iron Sky. It's hilarious. Like, I know there's not much funny about the Holocaust or Hitler or whatever else,
Right.
but so it's irreverent humor. Let's just appreciate that from the beginning. It's irreverent humor, but it is funny.
Mm-hmm.
But it takes on this whole idea that the moon has been turned into, not even started as, turned into this giant military base. Oh yeah, it's a horrible movie. There are so many things wrong with it, but it adds to the humor.
Right.
It kind of has that Spaceballs. What is his name? I can't. He did so many, like, Blazing Saddles and
Mm-hmm.
a bunch of other movies. Help me out. What's his name, Brenda? I know you know this. It escapes me right now. Because it's how the dialogue runs. It's a lot of screwball comedy. It really is. Mel Brooks. Thank you. Could not think of his name to save my life. It has a very Mel Brooks feel. But again, like, it's that layering of, well, what if? And like, how drunk were you when you came up with this premise for a movie? Like, how screwed up are you to have come up with this movie? But and that's sort of where this takes me as well.
Mm-hmm.
This creator is like, how many crystals have to fall on your head?
Well, I think a lot. Because she has not done, and I'm sorry, I am a bitch when it comes to this. She hasn't done her damn research.
No.
Okay. Like, there is no reason. Like, there are sound bits of this that are sound bites to get your views, but it's spreading so much misinformation, mistheorization, and I'm like, can we stop? Like, can we just stop?
Yeah. Well, but then there's the whole point to be made.
Right.
That we have a problem.
Right.
Hey, Emily. Emily's not the problem, but anyway, wanted to say hi to Emily. But no, we have a problem in that, like, this shit sells.
Mm-hmm.
It sells. It sells. It sells. It sells. And I think it's because ultimately we end up speaking to this human thing,
right?
This human need,
right?
I thought you'd appreciate that, Emily. This human need to feel like there's something greater going on, that there's something bigger happening, that
Right.
there's more than this.
Right.
And I think we're about to see the biggest investment into that as a species,
Mm-hmm.
at least for Americans, over the next 3 years, and how many months are left till this presidency is over. I think we're going to see a giant investment, though, in that feeling
Right.
as things keep getting worse.
Right. But
It's not getting better.
you- but
We're going to see
I'm
this.
hoping that investment is in actual spiritual full information. You know, one. You
Yeah,
know,
we're going to follow the happy feel good path. We're
oh,
going to take.
if it's another 2012, I'm going to, like, I don't know, invest in laundry detergent and put on my earphones and listen to Black Sabbath.
Again, going back to that, or go back to the Panini when everyone was freaking the fuck out.
Right.
I think you're going to see that over the next 4 years, or
Right.
however.
But the Panini was expected. It had been expected for almost 2 years. And why I say this is there's this large theory that history repeats itself to learn the same lessons on the current frequencies that the souls on Earth are involved in.
Oh, look, you just basically said what her video said.
No.
We're trapped. We're trapped. We're stuck in a loop.
No, we're not stuck in a loop. We learn the same. History will repeat itself until history is learned.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's not what I'm saying. It's not the same thing. The theory is that there is 13 lessons that the human soul has to learn. Earth is its school. We reincarnate to learn those lessons. When we do not learn those lessons, to care for the earth, take care of our body, to invest in the connections, to learn, to explore, to learn what universal love is, to learn what universal connection is, we begin repeating it. And every time we repeat some major movements in history, it reshapes the generation.
But why can't the moon be a control module for that?
Spirit doesn't need a control module. Our souls don't need a control module.
And this isn't about just harassing you for shits and giggles, while it is funny.
Yeah.
But that's where some of this generates or springs forth out of, is
right.
If you want to support a conspiracy theory,
right.
you don't make up whole cloth lies.
Right.
You take bits and pieces,
right.
and you create this patchwork quilt of ideas and string them together in different ways.
Right.
There's saying those who do not learn from history are forced to repeat it, while helpless historians watch while pulling out their hair.
That's why you got to show our hairstyle, Emily. Just saying.
Does it matter? Most historians are bald.
Yes, it does. Because some of us still have great hair. But anyhow, so, and that theory in itself comes out of New Thought. New Thought came out of the late 1900s, 1900s, from, shit, I've got her fucking documentary saved in my YouTube. Give me a minute. It's Blavatsky, Madame Blavatsky, and her thoughts, theories, and ideas on what was considered old thought ideas, which is what you're reading, like the Emerald Tablet and the information there, as above, so below, the connection of astrology reflecting into the human behavior. So there's that. Then we have the awakening movement, which has been going on since, 1950, which is a whole different sphere of thought coming out of the Buddhist temples, blending in with a little bit of Tibetan influences that has been so fucked up by marketing. Fasting and study where well not only that, but they make spirituality fucking easy, and it's like it isn't easy. It is not easy to sit and go, okay, this is the path of the Buddha. These are the four agreements. And just for today, I'm going to not argue with people. I'm going, the Buddhist philosophy is very hard. The ideas behind the awakening movement are very hard.
But here's the thing.
Right.
And when I say sells, I mean people connect with it, is what I should say. Not that it doesn't, I'm sure, sell books and seminars and merch and create a massive YouTube following that pays a mortgage and a couple of employees and again and. But isn't that basically the basis of all religion?
Some, but
connect with people,
right?
Propose to answer a deeper question and provide meaning. Support your ass.
See, but then there becomes, and this is why there is philosophy and religion. They're two separate pots.
Mm-hmm.
Philosophies, yes, they are.
Okay.
Philosophy is about expanding minds, ideas, theories, history, knowledge. Religion, at least the three Abrahamic ones, are about control, focus, masculinity, financial support, and fear-based control. You're going to hell.
But a professional philosopher was a thing.
Yes, it was a thing, and it still is a thing. It's just some people don't get paid to be a professional philosopher anymore. That's like an art degree really doesn't get much weight unless you're into the magazine business. But what I'm saying is like, and the other stories, so that covered the reincarnational idea that is originally out of India. And that idea is, we read until the 12 lives are born, 12 lessons or 13 lessons are born. We don't get off this planet and return to source. So that's the base idea, the base principle theory on why we have this human condition, why we have multiple lives. They fuck around with karma all the time. It drives me insane. I like some of the posts, but I'm like, do I want to be there when karma collects on your ass? Yes, I would like to be dead in the observatory going, let's see how many karma cookies you get forced to eat.
FAFO. But here's my argument in all this. Do you think if we had a lovely time machine,
right,
we would not be experiencing virtually the same conversation on some level?
Okay.
About these existing ideas,
right,
for reincarnation, for all of this in their developmental time period,
right,
that we're having about this YouTube video here and now today.
I don't think we would have the wealth of information we currently have to be able to discuss these things, but would we have the exact conversation 23 AD during the Tibetan formulation of their philosophy? Yes, I think we would. I think we would be seeing people having conversations about, you feel this so familiar to me. Well, some way
but here's what I'm saying. Yeah, there's going to be a group of people with every tenet foundation. We'll call it that. Right. I don't really want to throw religious on it. But right. Tenet foundation for philosophy, for religion, for belief system. There's going to be a group of people going, that's fucking bullshit. You're pulling it out of your fucking ass. How different? And I'm sure that won't be the words. But fundamentally translated, if you're sitting there with the subtitles turned on, pretty much. But we're sitting here today and doing the same thing.
Right.
And I guess what I struggle with sometimes is, yes, based on existing belief systems that are very old, very well documented, pre-existing, has many followers. The new thing is fucking stitched together bullshit.
It's not stitched together bullshit. It's like you took a fucking Cliff Note version of it, and then you take pieces that are like, okay, like that's cute, but you got it wrong. Like frequency. Okay, frequency is the magnetic vibration that naturally occurs on Earth. There's apps for it. I have one on my phone. I've shared the frequency changes of Earth and how it affects humans, because it does.
Well, the general theory, everything vibrates.
Right. Everything vibrates.
A lot slower than others.
Some.
So some vibrate slower than others. We're not talking about the battery-operated boyfriend. All matter vibrates.
Yes. But the Earth vibrates at a frequency. That frequency has changed. It changes every day. Why does it change every day? Because the magnetic field is changing. The magnetic field has been changing since the beginning of time. We are in a different area of the galaxy than we have been in 20,000 years. So when you take that and you take gravitational pull on our galaxy, it's going to change things.
Yeah, so Brenda's saying she picked keywords that catch attention without knowing anything about it. Yeah, it's all keywords.
Yeah.
Like, it just stitched those right together. I mean, it is perfectly built. Like, I will gladly give a hand for your keyword marketing is working. Your SEO is amazing.
Right.
I do. But it brings about the question of, is that where we are as people? Is that we are that out of the wellspring of YouTube, social media, different platforms, the tools we use to create videos, to market videos, to connect with audiences, to connect to topics, is this kind of the I don't really want to call it the AI step, but I feel like somewhere in here AI is involved. I have my own questions, comments, thoughts, and ideas on the video itself, but we'll leave those alone.
Right.
But the genesis to pull this together, if nothing else, feels like it is very artificially done.
Right.
Like you go to ChatGPT and go, I want to create a video that hits all these keywords. Tell me what to say. Give me 50 ideas for a cult following, effectively.
Right.
I mean, I don't think it's quite culty yet, but it has whiffs of culty.
Right.
Is that where we are? We're now synthesizing new belief and following, off of SEO search words. Like we've moved from trying to explain the world around us, with limited knowledge and access to observation, and swirling all that together to try to answer the bigger, greater question that has plagued humanity, Why are we here? What are we doing? What's our purpose? All
Right.
that I think ultimately no one's ever sufficiently answered in a way that feels real.
Right.
And all of this, all of recorded history has led to a moment in which I now feel like AI has tried to create a narrative that sells, that will create viewership, that will bring in audiences, that will gain traction.
Possibly, but this gets dangerous. Point blank dangerous. And Kogel, I need more explanation. Working for me, yeah, there's many elements in work doing jobs for me. But at the same time, these are the building, I don't want to call them blocks, I want to call them dung piles that create the Chad and Lori Daybell, that create the 8 passengers. When they start not really infusing or studying or tearing into their information and understanding where their information is at the same time while organizing and actually getting into the brain pattern of the theosophers, the mystics, the masters, whatever, and actually chewing through it.
Brenda's like, it's a cult.
She's
can be a cult.
She's trying to, but she's only one voice in a very large room of people. I'm like, get back to class.
Well, but does it matter? Like that's this is the social media revolution.
Right.
That we are currently in. Meanwhile, like, I hear what you're saying, but tell me how that's different than Apple fanboys. Any OS fanboy group. You have a company, Apple, promotes the shit out of their products.
Right.
And let's be honest, a lot of that is open and subject to interpretation.
Right.
All right. Think Differently is a brilliant ad campaign. Brilliant. They have totally profited off of their ability to sell their shit.
Right.
Okay? It's not perfect. It's not going to make you an artist. It's not going to make you a musician. If you have no innate ability, if you can't carry a tune in a bucket, you can't carry a tune in a Mac. Okay?
Or on Mars.
You are not with zero ability.
Right.
You're going to be able to become a world famous singer-songwriter because you bought a Mac instead of a Windows PC. Not going to matter. But it's what we do. And you will have fanboys. You will have fans. You will have adherents. You will have a cult that forms up. What? What are you pointing at?
How many Apple devices do you own?
I own 2.
And how many is on your wish list?
Many, many more. What? I like the experience, like, sue me. It at a personal preference level. I get it. It doesn't make me a fanboy. I'm not sitting here telling you about the all-powerful wonderfulness of Apple. Come to the church of Macintosh. That's not where I'm at. I think it's whatever works for you. I don't care. I'm pretty OS agnostic. There are benefits to this one. There are benefits to this one. Android's great for some things, horrible at others. iOS is wonderful at some things, sucks ass at others. I don't care. Do
Well,
whatever you want. I am hardware, software agnostic. I do think there are options that make more sense
mm-hmm,
for certain applications than
mm-hmm.
others. So that's where my professional opinion's going to come from. I'm not just going to sell you Apple because Apple's amazing and don't you know you can do that with an Apple product. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you accomplish the thing and we do it the best way, financially, functionally,
Mm-hmm.
whatever possible, I'm great with that.
As he freezes, and I'm like, mm-hmm. And when we were looking at digital planning, it was the iPad that got returned as quickly as possible. I hate those things.
Yeah, it doesn't work for you, and that's fine. Ashley says you'd look better with a cigar.
Don't get me started. If I find the cigars I like, you guys will see me smoking cigars, but I haven't found the cigars I like yet.
No, you're not allowed to smoke cigars on air. Because when you start the cigars, you're going to then switch to having a drink with the cigars.
True.
And that,
we're
not doing
energy.
it. I'm not. I will not do a show with you while you are getting hammered.
Please, I've already done a show with me getting hammered, and I was not as drunk as the host.
With other people. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, there's an episode of Drunken Divination with Aeson if you want to see me drinking.
Yes. So, but no, I think we see that spring up around everything, especially now more than ever, when we have tools that are literally primed, ready, waiting to go to turn random people in their bedrooms into household names with millions of followers and dripping in cash.
Right, but that's not the problem. Like, she could have done this episode. Yeah.
Brenda's like, I bought him drinks on Drunken Divination.
Yeah. She could have done the episode, done those with full fucking research. And she would have went, oh my God, I am missing so many fucking connections. Even to prove her own theory, she's missing connections.
Why? Outside of industry professionals who are like, this is fucking bullshit, let me explain to you for 4 hours why. And that's a bare minimum.
Doing a 4-hour show.
Bare minimum to fully explain everything that's wrong with what she just said. And that's only part of the 10-minute clip.
Right.
Okay. Outside of industry professionals that are like, this is fucking bullshit. Who else does it matter to?
I think it matters to a lot of people. I think it matters to the person on the phone that I'm talking with that is so convinced their shitty-ass boyfriend is a cosmic connection, a karmic connection that they have to deal with this life, or they're going to repeat it next life. I think it is so much for people.
Oh, you mean their twin flame? The industry already keeps pushing to sell readings. Networks do this all the damn time. They want to talk twin flames. Gotta find your soulmate. Single, only one, not plural. Soulmate, one.
Right.
Twin flame, the other half of you, because you're broken and missing part of yourself. Sell it.
Yeah, all and the new one is karmic connections, and I'm like, because they have to deal with their karmic connection before they can deal with their twin flame, and I'm like, no, dump his fucking ass today, please dump his ass today. You don't have any karmic connection because karma does not rely on this plane. That is your detention center when you get out of here.
Like, if you have a karmic connection, that's like finding the love of your life in rehab. Okay?
Yes.
I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying consider where you're shopping. Okay? Is this the best choice for you?
Right.
You know what? Like, we talk on the show about trying to go through the clearance section at Michael's to build a boyfriend
Mm-hmm.
because you found some crap that's marked down 90%, and you're going to take him home and you're going to sand him and you're going to paint him and you're going to break all his bad habits and then you'll have the perfect husband for you. What the literal fuck are you doing with your life? That's not how this works.
Right.
It's in the clearance section for a reason.
Yeah.
Don't bring it home to fix it. This isn't an arts and crafts project. This is a human.
Yes. Now, are there connections of past lives that you have in this life? Fuck yes. Do they make connection no matter what planet they're on, what state they're in? Fuck yes. So with all that, it's like, 7 layers of holiness. Can we please pull our shit together? One, find an ideology you like. Soulmates, lovely. Every dude you ever dated is a soulmate if there was a love connection. Not a sex connection, a love connection. That from the first boyfriend you have to the 90-year-old you marry on your deathbed.
Mm-hmm.
All of them are a soul connection because it's a school. You're going to go through school with the same group of people changing roles. Kind of like watching American Horror Story. That literally is what happens in reincarnational theory.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, after she explained it, I'm like, this isn't even a thing. There is no physical, idyllical idea.
Like there's a thin layer. There is, and that's the problem with it. And that's what we're pointing out is there is this thin coating of things that exist, connecting to a whole random new idea that has no actual support.
Right.
So it's a bridge to nowhere. And getting back to the so who does this matter to? Realize when you're driving off this bridge, because that's what you're doing. You're not driving over the bridge to solid land. You're just driving Thelma and Louise off a bridge.
Right.
Like, be careful of these things. Not everyone who uses the keywords knows what the hell they're talking about. Because again, it sells. You can. These are the same things that occur. And I know everyone feels, or a lot of people may feel, that cult at this stage is too strong of a word. They all have an inception point.
Right.
What's the motivation?
Right.
Charismatic leader, check. I think you got that. Like she at least as she appears in the videos, very charismatic, very very visually appealing, very someone you can easily connect to.
Right.
Okay. What's so that's one. Then you have a offshoot of a traditionally accepted idea.
Right.
Belief, idea, like whatever it is. And then you have the rest of it, which is this off a bridge, completely, hanging out, whole new idea that the premise of is this thin, paper thin coating of things that you feel are true, that you know to be true. Very thin. Like, it's not true, but it's got that rolling paper thinness of like holding it all together.
Right. Well, and so I decided to, since we suspect her script was written by AI, I decided to go feed karmic relationships into AI. Do you know what? It's nothing. It's pieces of things that have been stirred together like a bad soup. You know, we got the ancient Hebrew texts, circa 15 BCE, Buddhist sculpturing, Palkan, and others talk about the karmic ties and attachments. That is where the word attachments has nothing to do with spirit. First, it starts in, and that's around 500 BCE. Then we have the Philosopher's writings, Annie Brasses and Charles Letterburn, late 1800s, and then 1960s began using words like karma and relationship help books, spiritual coaching, psychotherapy, like unclaimed soulmates, soul contracts, all became in theory from Seth and the interpretations of Seth. But it wasn't until fucking TikTok is now taking these little threads, these little 2-minute clips, and stabbing them together. And it's like, no, that is not a cake. That is not even a brownie. That is bread that has fruit in it. Not even good fruit. Like crazy fruitcake fruit.
Okay, but here's the next thing, and I think this is going to be the even more controversial opinion. Prepare yourself. The best case scenario for this creator is that they kind of Joel Osteen. Massively popular, super wealthy, a little wonky on the belief ideas, but not inherently harmful.
Right.
Maybe a little bit tone deaf, but not inherently harmful in and of themselves.
Right.
Like, they have a bunch of followers, they're decent people.
Right.
They appreciate him. And that's fine.
Right.
It's not that big a deal.
Right.
Joel Osteen is not destroying the world.
Debatable, but okay.
Well, okay, then debate it. I mean, functionally, like, totally, completely, like, people are not drinking Kool-Aid and unaliving in the middle of his ceremonies. There is not an island he is building to put all of them on to do that. He just exists. He makes a shit ton of money. That's his only motivation. And yeah, he's pretty tone deaf and also offers a lot of false hope and false promises.
Right.
But overall,
and supports the cat food industry.
And I'm sorry, supports what now?
The cat food industry. Yes, Joel Osteen supports the cat food industry. Because he's a part of this prosperity gospel bullshit.
Okay.
So these little old ladies that get a little check, let's say it's $887 a month. So their traditional tithes would be $88.70 sent to their community or church. Tunes in every Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, what the hell ever he's on TBN. And they send him a check for $532 because that's what God told him you need to send him. And they live on fucking cat food the rest of the month.
Okay. I have to go with, as disagreeable and not recommended as that is, and unagreeable as it is, like, and gross and disgusting and everything else that it is, how do you attack someone for making a financial decision that is not beneficial to them, but is spiritually comforting?
Because
like,
he's not.
here's my thing. Because and the reason I say it that way
Mhm.
is, yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I hope to God I never do it. I hope that whatever has inspired someone to do that never afflicts me. That's
Right.
my hope. That's my
Right.
sincere hope. I hope I can make it out of this plane
Mhm.
to whatever else or nothing that there is after,
Right.
without ever being I sent my money to someone, anyone, whomever, religious leader, relative, friend, whatever, to an extent that I now have to live off of friskies.
Right.
Okay, that's my hope. But that would be a choice that I made. It's
Right.
a horrible choice to make. Let's be real clear.
Mhm.
Is it destroying the world?
Yes, I think it is. I think it's destroying every world that it interacts with.
Okay.
Okay. Because.
See, I have to argue it's horrible, it's egregious, it's bad, it's nasty, it's disgusting to think about.
Mhm.
It affects an individual,
That
a lot
affects.
of individuals,
Right.
but affects individuals.
Mhm.
It is so not medically recommended, and it is harmful to your health on an individual basis.
Mhm.
Getting the ick out of the way that, like, one time eating cat food is not going to kill you, as
Right.
has learned so many parents of toddlers
Mhm.
and small children who don't know better.
Mhm.
Like, one time is not going to kill you.
Right.
As a steady, consistent diet, it's probably going to shorten your life a little.
Right.
But that's not quite the same as this is a deadly poison.
Yeah.
Pour into cup, mix with Kool-Aid, drink.
Right.
It's where, like, I'm sitting here going, and that's the best she can hope for.
Right.
Like, this is the best she can hope for. And I don't think Joel Osteen singularly is
Mhm.
destroying the world. I think that people are making choices based on a lot of self-supplied,
Mhm.
like, relinquishing of control and decision making to
Mhm.
him,
Mhm.
to do things that are very harmful to themselves. But is he actively encouraging people to specifically do that thing?
Yes.
Is okay.
He is actively producing him and whatever the blonde ex stripper is doing. Both of them are part of that cost that
Prosperity
prosperity
gospel.
gospel that's like give everything you can to the church and God will bless you magically.
I bought a Rolls Royce.
I got 2 new planes. I got a new mansion. The church is not paying taxes on any of this. We are not doing the mission of the Gospels that you want to go pick up. The version that you choose to. Granted, there are 26 of them, but you decided that the one you want to preach from, you skipped half the fucking books.
Yeah. But again, thinly rolled together with this rolling paper thin. Like, well, it's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a nuanced, well explained version of the thing, but
Right.
it's a thing. Like, see, I can point to it. We just didn't
Right.
read anything else around it.
Right.
But then, so the reason I bring this up, the red prayer cloth guy, you put your checkbook on it when writing out checks. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that
But
dude.
so they have all this wealth. They are taking from our impoverished retirees Give me a minute. I'll pull up
Billy
that name.
Graham or
No.
not Billy.
He was water.
Oral Roberts. I mean, there's many people in the sphere that are doing virtually the same thing.
Right.
I mean, the actual basic teaching that they've offshot to differs,
Right.
but the model is
Right.
this. And this is the best version. The best version.
Yeah. You know, and then they go in the influence politics, which I'm sorry, as a religious leader, the only one that I think should be influencing anything is another government leader, and that is the Pope. The rest of them should shut their damn mouth up unless they want to lose their tax status. Just saying. No, I don't have a tax status.
Look like a cross between a trucker and a Vegas greasy con man.
Right.
I think we're just trying to narrow down which one. Sorry.
Yeah. Come on, chat. Pull your stuff. It is. Yeah, it was Robert Talbot.
Robert Talbot. Or,
yeah.
Okay, whatever. Robert.
Yeah.
Okay. But here's the thing. How many people do you think for the next greatest Apple product are eating ramen? Bought the newest MacBook Air, living off of ramen.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, not much better or worse, negligibly similar.
Right.
But thankfully, human food, ramen,
right,
10 cent or whatever it is now, 26 cent, I guess. Package of ramen, not a good diet to consistently have. Horrible for your blood pressure.
Right. But there's a difference. And the difference is this. You get something out of the experience that is tangible.
You get a product.
Yes.
You get a real package. You get a real physical, touchable thing. But is that what someone buys when they buy the next MacBook Air?
Possibly. But what I'm, but anyway, the whole point with it is, yes, they're making destructive decisions. Yes, they're using the power influence in a negative way. Yes, they're violating their gospels on so many levels. And it's like, now I'm starting to see this seep into the spiritual community, and I'm like, stop. Just stop. Stop it now. This is bullshit. I don't care what path you follow, what robe you put on, what crown you wear, what scarf you put across you, what practices you have in your life that is feeding your spirituality. Know your fucking shit.
So is the bigger problem that it's seeping in, as in it's starting to filter and change how the Wiccan, pagan, metaphysical, astrology communities are functioning?
Right.
Or is it that it's borrowing bits and pieces and it's pulling out?
More so, it's making I think it's stealing sound bites, which is
that would be a pull out. Like if I use your shit, like let's face it, like call yourself a Christian all day long. Joel Osteen's not a fucking Christian.
No,
you took Christian teaching, a piece of it,
right?
As did everyone else in Prosperity. Sorry to call out Joel Osteen. I'm sure he's a great person if I met him at a party. This is not about demonizing him. For me, it's not about demonizing. it's about pointing out, like, you took a piece
Mm-hmm.
of another religion,
Mm-hmm.
you pulled that piece out, you scaffold off of it to make a whole career for yourself.
Right.
That's and you pulled people that would have gone to their local Baptist church, their local whatever church,
Mm-hmm.
done their thing, and lived out their lives on a completely local scale.
Mm-hmm.
And from all these different places,
Mm-hmm.
you have amassed this mega church
Mm-hmm.
with a massive online televised following
Mm-hmm.
that in
He'll be back. Yeah, but no, you pull away from communities. You pour away from community connections. Any religion has a community connection influence to it. It's an actual interesting study. Welcome back.
Mhm. So you pull, so he is in him forming his global ministry has pulled all these people.
Mm-hmm.
And getting to my point, he didn't change what it meant to be Christian. He didn't change what the Christian teachings were. He didn't destroy Christianity with it, but he ripped these people out. So that's where I'm curious if which thing you think is happening. Is it pulling, or is it ravaging through the metaphysical, pagan, etc. communities,
Mm-hmm.
and it's warping and deforming
Mm-hmm.
and totally altering what this is going to be in 5 years, 10 years, next year, whatever, what those words actually mean, and the whole community, because they're going to shift and go a direction.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it in the generation of this, in the genesis of it,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to take people that have heard of these concepts, know of these concepts, or
Mm-hmm.
little familiar, that are vulnerable to it, and pull them out of a more traditional practice.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know what happens after this. We don't know what her next is. We don't know what that looks like. Even if it's not her,
Right.
it's going to be someone, because now you've got the seed going
Mm-hmm.
of these broken ideas and conspiracy theory laden, thin little off, like thinly wrapped
Mm-hmm.
ideas. You are now vulnerable to more of it.
Mm-hmm.
So even if it's not her, it's the next, and again, so sorry,
Generation.
Joel Osteen of the, the pseudo metaphysical space, the
Mm-hmm.
pseudo whatever space that comes along and makes a go of it.
Yeah. And then after that, you have the next version of Mother of God occurring.
That's the worst case. Well, and that's the worst case
That's the
scenario.
proven case scenario of it. We've
No.
seen this happen over and over.
Right. There's gonna be, regardless of what anyone does,
Right.
there's gonna be some horrible, tragic cult that forms around some really fucked up, broken idea. I think the biggest surprise to me at this point is this far down the YouTube, TikTok, blah blah blah,
Mm-hmm.
all the platforms, the social media platforms, we haven't had the formation yet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still surprised by it. Like, do understand, like, this is me
Mm-hmm.
ringing a bell. I am shocked, actually, that we haven't seen a large, mass scale, mega church, whatever that looks like,
Mm-hmm.
form out of social media, in whole cloth out of social media,
Mm-hmm.
based on little scaffolds and this quilting approach,
Mm-hmm.
that turned into, in record-breaking time,
Mm-hmm.
a massive dominating presence that buys a town, that buys a county
Uh-huh.
and then forms the most atrocious cult that has like levels of Jonestown by orders of magnitude.
Have you not checked a lot of the towns in Montana?
Help me out here.
There is a few of those moving along.
I know. I'm just surprised it hasn't already gone nuclear.
Right.
Sorry, I struggle with that word. But I'm surprised that hasn't happened. That it just hasn't had that critical mass yet.
Right.
It's part of the cult thing. Is you
Right.
have to hit a critical mass and then it all blows up.
Mhm.
It is a
Right.
specific formula to create a cult. I am
Right.
shocked
Right.
that we've had YouTube since what, like 2004?
Maybe 2005.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And we are 20 years down this road. I would have given it like 5 years, 10 years.
Right.
The minute you had YouTube millionaires.
Track billionaires.
Exactly what I'm saying. Like we got through those that like millionaire mindset into the billionaire mindset.
Because we have YouTube
surprised.
millionaires. I'm quite sure we have YouTube billionaires. Hello, Dr. Beast. Welcome to you being called out. But anyhow.
But do you understand what I'm saying? If Mr. Who's the Beast had decided somewhere in here to take their cult-like following, because you know they have one, and use it to create a religious experience. I'm trying to figure out how social media is going to term it.
Right.
A religious experience, an offshoot. How quickly, if 10% of those followers take that follower count, because what's Mr. Who's the Beast at? Or is it Mr. Who's the Beast? I thought it was Mr. Who's the Beast. Am I just wrong? No, not Anui. Like, no, not him. It's Who's the Beast guy?
Mr. Beast.
Mr. Beast. Okay, sorry about that. I ran two people together.
Right.
So Mr. Beast is at how god awful many followers. He has over 100 million as of 2022.
Right.
Like I gave my 100 million subscriber an island.
Right.
How easily could that have been?
Right.
We decided that 10%. Like we're going to create a religion, 10% of 100 million people.
Right.
1%, 1 million people.
Right.
We bought a town.
Right.
I'm your cult leader now.
Right.
You do what I say.
Right. But, you know, if you look at Till Swan, she's already done this.
Okay.
Yeah. I've got Hulu for you.
Okay, cool. But explain. I hate when you dump things. I'm just thinking, it is one of those back burner, like back of my brain tickles. It's going to happen.
Right.
And it is going to rival anything we've ever seen. Right.
Till Swan was a YouTuber. She's a new age YouTuber figure. And she has, her career basically blew up. But at the same time, she pivoted quickly and turned that into expanding her brand and went into talking about shadow work, trauma healing, spiritual contracts. She also used the attention to grow a cult-like following. Like, I expect hate comments for mentioning her, but she's done the same thing. And, everywhere you turn, it's shadow work, shadow work, shadow work, shadow work, shadow work, shadow work. Yeah, we've been covering that for fucking centuries. It's called dealing with your emotions.
Subscribers.
Yeah.
Got our subscribers. It's a hot keyword.
Yeah. Right.
And that's what I'm saying is it could just as easily be Blue Bodhi.
Right.
There's a huge creator in the space.
Oh, she is, but she backs her shit. Like, I have clocked her a number of goddamn times. Clock her. And every time I clock her, she's fucking right. She brings up she's the one who brought up the frequency changing of the earth, the Shakti principle. And I sat there and made you watch the video because I'm like, I will take the donut glaze for this, for the way we've been feeling this past week. Here you go. Watch this.
Yeah, fair enough. But here's my point is what would it like I'm not trying to impinge her character at all. Please don't sue us. I'm just saying how easy from where she is now would it be to make Jonestown look like a frickin' like bad day at Disney World?
The problem is Blue Bodhi, love her to death. She owns a little metaphysical shop. She was actually at a festival here in West Virginia at Moundstown. I would have died to have the schedule availability to go there and see her. She's a sweetheart. She is like Corey Metliff. I would sit down and have coffee with her any day, and we can discuss frequency alliance. She knows her shit. She knows her Reiki. That is not what I'm talking about. She is not a practitioner I'm talking about.
Right. And this is what I'm saying, though.
Mm-hmm.
How easy would it be for her to flip the switch and go, fuck y'all, mama want bank. Mama want bank. Flip the switch. Flip the switch. Take everything she knows. Flip the switch. Just a little. It's not even a switch flip. It's a nudge. Flip. Breathe on the switch at this point.
Right.
And just ever so slightly offshoot. Ever so slightly.
But she knows, like I know, the minute you even sneer that switch to that misinformation, the universe is going to walk up and go, stupid.
Oh yeah, there's going to be retribution there. I get that.
Right.
I'm just saying, in this space, and when I say that, I don't mean just the current metaphysical like Blue Bodhi and all that. I mean the whole of social media space. The fact that this has not already created a massive global sized cult that has not descended upon a county worth of space somewhere in the world,
right,
and gone completely thermonuclear, completely just blown itself to bits.
Right.
Do you know how little it would take for some of these people to just take it to the next level?
Time as just taking that to the next level, there is, and see, that's where the dynamics of real philosophers, real thinkers, real mystics changes the balancing equation, is because everything within Wicca, within metaphysics, New Age thought, is so focused on you are in service. You can make $1 billion. Like, one of these days I want you to sit down and we can add up how much I've made over 20 years. I'm quite sure I am into the millions on the psychic industry. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that is with the universe. You have seen me time and time again go, all right, here you go, universe. and it happens. But that's working within frequency, vibration, staying on my game, getting in my thought. Like, every principle is about self-improvement. Flipping that switch and pulling a Jonestown situation, that thought and theory has been brought about and played with, and, we should just go and take over a town, and every one of us talks about owning a sanctuary. It's an interesting idea. But the problem is the universe is like, it ain't time yet. It ain't time
or
for the
more to the
temples.
point, this is a bad idea.
Right.
Sounds culty.
Like, we practice a cult, not a cult.
Yeah, a cult, not a cult.
Yeah.
Which is a big key word.
Right.
But here's where this all comes up.
Mm-hmm.
Is like, and again, you're focusing specifically on legitimate people in the space,
right?
Like Blue Bodhi,
yeah,
a very legitimate figure in the space. Sorry, I can't keep those two names out of my mouth tonight. You guys gonna have to forgive me.
Mm-hmm.
I have limited, on some levels, knowledge of everyone in the space.
Right.
So I'm saying, for someone to follow in their footsteps.
Mm-hmm.
And this is already all online. We already see the market for it. We already see the people just clamoring for the next video.
Right.
Can't get there fast enough.
Right.
When or how little would it take is where I'm at for someone to never have the belief.
Mm-hmm.
They're fucking atheist, okay? A bad atheist, but an atheist. Totally,
Mm-hmm.
They don't care. They don't believe in an afterlife. They don't care what comes next. Fuck it. Mama or Papa or they, themer wants fucking bank.
Yeah.
Here's a pathway that works.
Mm-hmm.
I just stitch it together just a little different.
Mm-hmm.
I hit my 100 million followers.
Mm-hmm.
Clamoring for my next video.
Mm-hmm.
And I take that money
mm-hmm.
and I form a religious organization.
Mm-hmm.
I buy a chunk of property bigger than the Mormon church ever fucking thought about.
Well, they bought 3 states, so.
Yeah. And boom goes the dynamite. Like,
exactly. That's where the dynamite will happen at. The universe in itself will correctly fix that very quickly. We have seen that in the industry.
Mm-hmm. Well, but see, here's my thing is but then you have
mm-hmm.
the Tide Pod Challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
All the people who exploited the Chase Bank money glitch.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that. You're going to prison.
But do a meditation challenge. Do a, like, these are challenges. Totally. We at this point in our existence have eliminated Darwin and the Darwin ideas.
Well, but again, like, we've talked about those issues specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And the response level that they got, that some random person post a fucking video online, and you have kids eating fucking Tide Pods and young adults writing bad checks and depositing them into an ATM and pulling the money out.
Right.
In mass. It wasn't like a small phenomenon.
No.
It wasn't like, 2 or 3 people over here did this and 10 or 15 idiots over here did it. Numbers of people did it.
Right, but the
It
number
became
of
a
people
thing.
that used to die from being in a snowstorm has massively reduced. The universe has to create something to eliminate things.
So you're definitely down with Darwinism. It's just the universe had to get creative. Like, God, we put too many warning labels on fucking ladders.
Yes.
Is your theory there?
Yes,
Okay,
I
so we
told you
created.
the letter has
So
too many.
your replacement theory on Darwinism is that we created YouTube as the universe created YouTube because we put too many labels on ladders, warning labels on ladders. So we needed to find a creator, a content creator, who could say some outlandish bullshit, and other people go, "That sounds like a good idea. I should try that."
Yes.
That hurts. Okay. That hurts.
I can deliver a point that hurts. Natural selection is a theory that has been proven in science. Natural selection will occur. You have to get an exiting point. Why they are doing pacemakers on a soul that has been stuck here for 99 years because he hasn't learned universal love is beyond the planetary understanding. But hey, it happens.
Granted. I'm just saying, I'm so surprised it has not happened in the social media space to date. Not saying we're not tracking or that, people are tracking and that there are versions of this occurring. I'm not saying that that's not occurred. I'm just saying I'm more surprised that that's the level we're at with it.
Right.
Instead of being like the event has occurred.
Uh-huh.
Oh, no, the whacked out creators came from having all the warning labels. The gene pool wasn't thinned out. But see, they didn't do it. They did a sleight of hand, or they did a whatever, or they just talked about it and then sat back with because they're not dead.
Right.
They're sitting back going, "You fucking idiots did this shit."
Mm-hmm.
Much like we had in this whole Alex Jones and Sandy Hook is a hoax. Please note, if you are only listening, there were massive fucking air quotes around those words. Dude is totally financially destroyed.
Good.
As a result of that. But like he's sitting there, he doesn't believe his own shit. That was his whole court defense. Was no one was supposed to believe this shit.
Yeah, that's such as a defense. Right. Entertainment is you pull off a joke or a stunt one time. Not for fucking 2 years every day on the air.
Again, like, we're in this weird period, though.
Right. Right.
Well,
we are also in a period where it's, honey, we got to find out if you're the asshole.
Okay.
We will continue this debate probably next week.
All right. You liking this one?
Yes.
All right. Am I the asshole for supporting kicking out our temporary roommate because of what her parents did? I live with 2 other girls in a 3-bedroom house, which is owned by my parents. I think that's what that abbreviation is for. Which is owned by my parents. I've known these girls since college, and we're all close. They both pay rent directly to my parents, but we don't have a formal agreement in place because we've always been chill. Last Wednesday, one of my friends, Sophia, asked if a colleague of hers, let's call her Ava, can stay with us for a few weeks as she's running short on cash and her parents live a few hours away and she needs a place to stay. We agreed that she can stay and only pay for utilities and no rent is required as such. Now, us girls, 3 of us, usually stay in on Saturday night and drink, smoke, watch a couple of movies, the basic stuff. Ava asked to join in. We said, sure, no problem. didn't even ask for any contribution for food, drinks, etc. But she got super drunk. We got her to Sophia's bed to sleep it off and came back to the living room. In the meantime, apparently, she didn't sleep and called her parents crying over everything that has been happening in her life. Her parents got very angry that she consumed alcohol. We didn't know they were conservative and asked to speak to the sluts she was living with, and Ava handed over the phone to Sophia. They called her a bunch of names, including a slut, someone who should be ashamed of being a woman because she drinks, go to hell, that she brings disgrace to her parents and stuff like that. They also said that as long as Ava is living here, we have to behave and not try to spoil their daughter, which also means no alcohol or boys or anything, the level of entitlement. Sophia started crying after that, given that both her parents are highly orthodox as well and condemn her life choices frequently. Maybe that's what Sophia and Ava bonded over. I don't know. Anyway, next afternoon, all three of us decided that Ava living here wouldn't work out and told her the same. We didn't force her or give her a deadline for moving out, just said to find a new place. Not even 10 minutes later, she came and handed over her phone to Sophia to talk to her dad, as he was angry and wanted to talk to her. I took the phone from Ava and told her dad off, given that we were going to allow her to live here for weeks without even rent, and now he's the one to be blamed that his daughter is getting kicked out. And I also said a bunch of stuff about his colorful vocabulary from last night and what it says about him as a man. Ava did move out Sunday night and showed up in office on Monday, but she has been cold towards Sophia and told a bunch of their colleagues that Sophia kicked her out. Now I feel maybe I could have helped Ava by just shutting up. Maybe. Am I the asshole?
Nope.
Oh. I mean, ultimately, I think we can all agree that dad of temporary roommate is totally 100% an asshole.
No.
I'm going to go everyone's shitty here.
Yeah.
The reason I say that is I think you took the easy solution here,
Right.
which was Ava's parents are the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to get rid of the problem by throwing Ava out.
Right.
Which ultimately I don't think starts to fix anything. Now, they're a problem. They're clearly a problem. You have a 20-something, I assume, year-old daughter, not a child, an adult female woman that you're still treating like a child and doing so under some version of political, religious, or a combination of both, dogmatic enforcement of who you think your child should be. If you want to do that, why aren't you paying for where she lives?
Exactly.
Why are you expecting someone else to conform to what you want for your child that we're not even clear that she wants for herself?
Right.
Why? I'm with you on the entitlement, OP. Like, that is some entitlement. But instead of trying to figure out with Ava what she wants, like, you're kind of sucking on the friends thing.
Right.
Like, it sounded like she's caught up in a laundry list of problems. not the least of which are her parents and probably derivative of things going on with her parents, and all of the dysfunction that exists there. But then you just throw her out. I'm not, because what I fundamentally see is like Ava got drunk and called her parents.
Right.
And ideally, no, that wasn't a good life choice, clearly. But that's what she did wrong?
I think what she did wrong was even think that this was going to fly in this house. Like, my point would have been like, I'm sorry, because, you know, I have parents I deal with. I have sister-in-laws I deal with. Don't pull that in my house. I'll look and go, it's yours, deal with it.
Yeah. No, and that's what I'm saying is, you know, like, your parents are your parents, you fucking deal with them. Can I offer some friendly advice? Maybe the next time you get drunk, don't call them and tell them you're drunk.
Right.
And then light into them about everything they've ever, you know, that's wrong in your world, that is their fault, whatever. It's not going to go well for you. How many times do you have to smack your head on that wall? That's a friendly response. And I don't see how this is really gonna be OP or the other roommates problem.
Right.
What do you think her parents are gonna do?
Right.
Or did you make this decision as a group to protect Sophia?
Right.
No, not the group. Protect Sophia from the influence of a friend similarly circumstanced, maybe not as bad or worse than your friend is, Sophia is, and you think that distancing her from Ava is going to help her, but then is that even true? Like, I'm going with everyone.
They were at the point of like, we just need to get rid of the problem. Problem just needs to go away. I'm tired of being yelled at, cursed at, and cussed at. And how dare her allow her family to, you know, she's not standing up to them to protect us.
I think that's some very, like, friend is probably an overstatement, and colleague is technically what they said that Ava was to Sophia. I think you tried to do something with very low requirement from you, that was good, and then you weren't really committed to it, and I think that's something when you're talking about bringing someone in to live with you, as a human being, and this is again back to where I'm going with everyone shitty here. Housing is a very I don't even know the words to put around it. Housing is a very massive part of someone's life. And to offer it and rescind it at the, like, you drop of a hat, that's really unkind. That's borderline cruel.
I agree. And I also agree that they didn't handle it correctly, first of all.
No.
Like, I'm quite sure they didn't sit down with, you know, the person moving in and going, okay, here's how our house rolls. Saturday nights, party into movies. You know.
Well, and I think it's part of their chill. Is that, like, they're not really functioning like adults. There's no agreements, there's no lease, there's no, it's just whatever. Hello? You're not children. This isn't daycare. But that's the point you're at in your lives, because you have parents that are fundamentally
Right.
checked out on this, like, grow the fuck up, man.
Exactly. But at the same time, and it's kind of like the situation we have, and I've had multiple times. When you moved in, you knew how the house rolled. He needs coffee to wake up. He does what he wants. I do what I want. As long as food gets on the table, everyone eats, everyone takes their medicine, we're all good. Bills will get paid.
Well, right. But more importantly, like, not to the specifics of what they are, it's an actual conversation.
Yeah.
Like, not just whatever, just you need a place, move on in.
Right.
It's like, whoa, living together might be an option.
Right.
Let's talk about what that looks like and requires and entails. And this is this is my home.
Right.
This is how it operates. I understand you are going to be part of that and influence it.
Right.
But we're not going to totally turn this into your home.
Right.
In the sense that it's whatever you say or your daddy says or your sister
Right.
or whomever says. It is our home. We're a group of people that already live here.
Right.
No matter how small a group that is, we're already here.
Right.
You can either roll with this or you can't. And if you can't, we don't want to offer, bring you in and then have this blow up because of something we already told you or knew could be a problem. Just to have to be like, we're sorry, you have to leave.
Right.
Like, if you come in knowing all this and then you're like, oh, now that I'm here,
right,
we're going to do it my way. Okay, that's on you.
Right.
You knew better.
Right.
But if you're chill and you just don't really talk about it, and I'm sorry, I know I'm making fun of Valley Girls, but it's that like level of mentality that like we're not really going to explore what this looks like before we're like, sure, you can live here. And then be like, oh, we didn't actually discuss that. So now we have a problem that was easily avoidable or was something that's like, okay, we need to figure out how to deal with that. So no one's dealing with anything. Just mommy and daddy's credit cards. Just pay the bill. And we're chill.
Yep.
Like, I'm sorry. I really want to, like, I'm less angry at OP and her current roommates.
Right.
And even the temporary roommate.
Right.
Than I am at the individual parents. And I'm fundamentally angrier.
Right.
Not at Ava's parents. Which, that's a whole can of worms. But I'm fundamentally angry at the parents of the 3 permanent roommates for the fact that, like, everything you're doing is just supporting this endless childhood fantasy.
Right.
Like, this is Lord of the Flies, for fuck's sake.
Right.
With pillow fights.
Right.
Like, what?
Anyway,
that's where I'm at. Everyone's shitty here.
Okay. All right, so let's pop over to Psychic Advice. While the poll is up, feel free to vote.
All right, so our psychic brings us, I keep talking to something. Guys, about a month ago, I started to journal first thing in the morning. It's more like a word vomit to empty out my mind, if that makes sense. No tidy journaling. I started it so I can work on my ego and follow my soul's purpose. I think because of sticking with the journaling, what I was doing is letting my ego spill its guts out, which led me to see patterns, which led me to truly soak in what my true nature is. Truly? Sorry, a lot of truths there. Well, this triggered something because I keep hearing this inner voice. It sounds like me, but I know it's not just my inner thoughts. It feels different, like a more mature, wiser twin version of myself. She speaks to me a lot, especially this week. She started last week. She helped me get out of a rut and spring clean after so long. She's been helping me with my OCD and depression, and it's not just me trying to push myself and encourage myself. I've done this before, obviously, but this one is different. Closest thing I can describe it is if someone created an AI voice of me, fed it the wisest things to say, then let me listen to it. She has her own personality, but still me, an evolved version. I've not been diagnosed with any mental illness that would warrant this, and I know it's not. If this is just a coping mechanism, then it's the healthiest one I've ever had in my life. I feel like I have someone, myself, beside me 24/7. Is this what a guide higher self is? I will say I've been intentional recently when it comes to connecting to my guides, but it's not my first time. It's just my first time seeing results, so I'm looking for confirmation. Please help me, kind souls. I dabble in meditation here and there. I consider myself spiritual. The one clear psychic thing I've experienced was seeing something in my dream, knowing it's a vision, and then it happening from the same point of view as the dream. It was insane. I saw the future.
Well, overall, what you're doing is you're working with a guide. The practice is called morning pages. If you guys have seen shots of my living room or watched some of the videos I've filmed, and then you'll see a board in the back and it lists morning pages. It's 3 pages of emptying out everything. And it's an easy way to connect with your guide, get information from your guide. Are they going to seem like an AI perfect version of you? Yeah, why? Is because they've got the whole fucking file there going, we need to fix that OCD. That's left over from when she, 3 lifetimes ago, got poisoned by bad water. Okay, so let's work that through.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a practice I love. I find it very grounding. I've got to get back into it. I haven't done it here recently. That's on Aeson's Change It list.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's not, like, I'll be the devil's advocate here. If it is not,
Right.
Which was part of their concern in the post, then it is. It's the healthiest coping mechanism that you've ever had, and that's not a problem. Like, I understand wanting to find, like, if it connects to something, higher, more spiritual, more metaphysical, more whatever. I understand that. I'm there with you. I do think on some level that we do have to cut through our own bullshit at times just to hear the wiser, smarter part of ourselves going, that's a lot of bad choices. And here's what you can do differently. Like, you can make a choice in this moment. And I think some of that ends up coming from, we're not all inherently stupid.
Right.
Like, we're just not.
Right.
But we can get really stuck in believing that we're stupid. We can get stuck in, we're horrible people and we don't deserve. And if you can, like, turn that off long enough, I think that to and this is the atheist talking, that within ourselves, if nothing else, is the make good choices voice that says, okay, here's how we fix it. Here's how we make this better. Like, here's how we move forward. Like, let go of all the garbage. You're not garbage. We'll keep you. This is what you need to do.
Right.
Because sometimes it's not really that, so to speak, deep and complex if you can turn off the voice and that tape running in your head that says, I'm horrible, I don't deserve this, I'm an imposter, I'm a whatever. If you can turn it off long enough, I think there is an inner monologue capable there. It's probably the quietest one. It's the gentle that says, okay, what does an intelligent adult do in this situation?
Right.
How do you move forward with this? How do I process that? And compared to the screaming tape of you're stupid and worthless and blah, 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 it's a very subtle thing.
Yes, he does. It's kind of like our morning meeting, as he calls it, of, okay, this is what's in the file. This is what we need to do. This is the things you're crapping on. These are the things that we need to work on. These are the situations. Yeah, it's a more paper monologue than what you would think. It's part of the artist way, which opens up creativity, which, of course, that's even larger connections with other things. So it's all that connectivity going on there. All right, so let's check out the poll. Are you the asshole this week? Ooh, no, you're not the asshole, but Dan, get the vinegar.
Ooh, we've gone dill pickle.
It is 25% dill pickle, 75% no, you're not the asshole.
I still say dill pickle is just the southern version of everyone shitty here, except you can make a salad out of it. Macaroni salad, potato salad, a lot of salad.
Yeah, there's a lot of salads going on there. All right, guys, with that, I know we're 30 minutes past schedule. I am sorry about that. We get lost. We do want to thank our Patreons.
All right. So, of course, we want to thank Beverly Walker, Mika G, Brenda, Joan Owen, Shannon C, Shannon D, Lady Gwendolyn, Caitlin Bell, Devin, and Bella. If you'd like to learn more about us, the show, or how you too can become Patreon sponsors and receive all the wonderful benefits our baristas receive, please visit us at pcspnetwork.com. All
right, guys, and we will see you Friday. You guys have a great week. I'll be taking appointments. You can get them in every form now because I've opened up my schedule for live appointments at the Crystal Lotus shop. You can get them by Zoom, by phone. You can always reach me on Keen or Life Reader. Click the buttons. I'll be around. Night, y'all.
Night.
Buckle up, y'all. It's time to drop. Drop.